Welcome to This Explainer. Okay, let's just jump right into this. For the longest time, migrating to the cloud was treated like a standard IT chore. It was just this thing on a checklist you eventually had to get around to doing. But today, we're looking at the data, and it proves that the cloud is so much more than that. Cloud migration isn't just an infrastructure update anymore. It is literally your primary engine for business growth. So, I want you to think about your current setup for a second. Seriously, is your infrastructure holding you back? Because if you're relying on rigid, legacy on-premises systems, they might be secretly throttling your business ambitions. In today's hyper-fast market, if your tech isn't actively pushing you forward, well, it's holding you back. Here is our roadmap for today's explainer. We're going to cover the shift to the cloud, the 5 specific growth drivers, a direct comparison of on-premises versus the cloud, the Rasta Infotech perspective, and we'll wrap up with the true cost of delaying. Section 1. The shift to cloud, a foundation for modern competitiveness. It really boils down to this. Cloud migration is no longer optional. It's just that simple. Adopting a cloud infrastructure is the absolute baseline for staying competitive and agile right now. It's a massive, unavoidable paradigm shift in the business world, and pretty much everything else you want to do relies on it. Section 2. The 5 growth drivers, accelerating your business. So, how exactly does this work? The mechanics of cloud-driven growth basically rely on 5 core pillars: cost efficiency, scalability and flexibility, business continuity, security and compliance, and innovation speed. Let's break down how each one of these acts like a turbocharger for your business. First up, cost efficiency. By eliminating the heavy capital expenditure of buying servers, you instantly stop budget waste. The cloud swaps out those massive, painful upfront hardware costs for a highly optimized pay-as-you-go model. You only pay for what you use. This frees up your capital so you can invest it directly into actual growth. To put that in perspective, maintaining legacy systems can sometimes eat up to 80% of an IT budget. That leaves practically nothing for actual innovation. Next, we have scalability and flexibility. Unlike those clunky on-premises systems, the cloud lets you scale up or down instantly. Imagine a massive sudden spike in seasonal demand, or you're launching a huge new product. Instead of scrambling to buy, install, and configure a bunch of new physical servers, your infrastructure just seamlessly adapts in real time. It's like magic. Then there's business continuity. Cloud providers give you built-in disaster recovery and incredibly high uptime, which effectively eliminates single points of failure. Your business becomes incredibly resilient. If a localized issue happens, your data smoothly fails over to another secure location. You stay online, period. When we talk about security and compliance, honestly, cloud providers deploy advanced measures that just blow internal capabilities out of the water. Think about it. These massive cloud companies are pouring literally billions of dollars into advanced encryption, sophisticated identity management, and rigorous compliance certifications. A single enterprise simply cannot match that level of continuous, heavy-hitting investment. And finally, innovation speed. The cloud accelerates deployment because it frees your internal teams from tedious infrastructure maintenance. When your top engineers aren't stuck in a server room replacing hard drives or applying patches, they can actually focus on high-value stuff like AI, advanced analytics, and the Internet of Things. You're unlocking their ability to build cutting-edge cloud-native services. Section 3. On-premises versus the cloud, the technological divide. When you put these two environments side by side, it's night and day. You're moving away from a slow, vulnerable, resource-heavy setup that's totally bound by physical hardware limits, and you're moving into an environment that is instant, elastic, and enterprise-grade across the board. The financial reality of this divide is super stark. High upfront CapEx versus pay-as-you-go OpEx. You're dramatically shifting away from sinking massive amounts of cash into depreciating hardware and stepping into a highly agile model where your tech costs actually align perfectly with your business output. Section 4. The Rasta Infotech perspective, real-world enablement. Now let's look at how experts handle this. Rasta Infotech, who are specialists in digital transformation and SAP consulting, operate on this exact philosophy. Cloud migration is not just a technology shift, it is a business enabler. It's fundamentally about changing how a company competes and delivers value. In the real world, they use this approach to hit three big strategic outcomes. First, reducing IT overhead so those resources can go straight into innovation. Second, they seamlessly integrate SAP modules with cloud-native analytics, bridging the gap between everyday processes and advanced insights. And third, they future-proof their clients' operations to guarantee agility. This approach is exactly why the cloud positions them as such a trusted partner for enterprise modernization.
Section 5. The cost of delaying. Survival in a competitive market.
Okay, so what's the big takeaway from all this data? It's simply this. Delaying means you risk falling behind. Companies that stubbornly cling to the past and hold on to those legacy on-premises systems are actively giving up their agility, their resilience, and their speed. While your competitors are scaling up instantly and rolling out new AI services, you absolutely do not want to be the one stuck managing a physical server rack. The market is just moving way too fast for that now.
So I'll leave you with this. In a modern market, can you really afford to fall behind? When cloud migration is clearly the primary engine for growth and the very foundation of your competitiveness, delaying is a risk no forward-thinking business should take. It's time to let your infrastructure accelerate your ambitions, not hold them back. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep learning.